Welcome everybody to another video of doing leak code because I'm bad at it and I'm still bad at it even though I've been doing it for some time. So I don't know if I want to just keep doing sliding windows and two pointers until it like clicks with me. I've been trying to do that and I haven't been successful at all. I know I watched some videos the other day about not the other day, maybe a couple of months ago of the best ways to learn something, or at least to learn these data structures and algorithms, and two pointers, and or at least from what the person was talking about, they were suggesting that two pointers and sliding window were like the common type of question you would get for data structures and algorithms. So that's why I was always trying to just do this. This looks like a linked list. I don't know if I want to do linked lists. I don't really, because with linked lists you have to do like recursion and all this other type of stuff. I know I'm going to do bad on this one. Should I just keep going? I don't know. Maybe I should do linked list and go to the basic ones first. So we're going to actually do go to a detour. We're going to do a detour and go to, I know there's linked list somewhere, and see like the basic version, go to like the easiest questions of linked list until I get to figure it out. Okay, easiest linked list. Merge two sorted lists. Let's go. So yeah, I try to do this for at least 30 minutes, and then within, if it's like 15 minutes or something like that passes, then I'll look for the answer. I'm trying to give myself like even more and more hints and help in terms of trying to figure it out. So it's like 27 minutes at this moment. Once it hits like 20 minutes, I'm gonna look at suggestions, especially if I'm like super stumped of what I need to do. But let's go into the question. It says 21. It's question 21. Merge two sorted lists. You're given the heads of two sorted linked lists, list one and list two. Merge the two lists into one sorted list. The list should be made by splicing together the nodes of the first two lists. All right. So you're given the heads of two sorted lists, two sorted linked lists, list one, list two. Okay, list one, list two. Merge the two sorted lists into one sorted list. The list should be made by splicing together the nodes of the first two lists. So a linked list is pretty much the class val and next being, I guess, the list node, right? I think that's how it works. With the list node, it's like the value, and the next one is going to be just the next list node, if that's how it works. But okay, there's um, two sorted lists, one, two, three, and we need to merge them together and also be in order. Now, the thing about these things, linked lists, it makes so much sense when you just look at it as an array. But when you try to do it yourself, it's so hard because, again, like it's not really normal to encounter linked lists, especially in PHP. Maybe in like other languages like C++ or C sharp, but you don't really see linked lists in PHP, so it's just like very weird. But let's look at the constraints here. The number of nodes in both lists is in the range from 0 to 50. Um, the value could be negative 100 or 100, somewhere in between. Both lists 1 and 2 are sorted in non-decreasing order. Now, I want to ask the question already because I'm thinking to myself, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how would I merge them? Because you can't necessarily, the list node will have two values. Will have two properties. I mean, it will have the value, the current value, which is going to be the head. So if this is 124, let's say list one has one, and I hit the value. What is one? List two is one. Okay, so how would I extract or replace one for the other? You know what I mean? Like the two things that I can think of at this moment is to create a third a list node, right? And try to loop through them in some way. So I can do, let's first think about looping through stuff. So if I put like wow, hmm, maybe I could do like this. Because once you hit to like the back, all the way to the back, I think the next would be null. So if I get the value and then I hit next, I assign next to a variable, I'm probably going to get another list node which will have the value of two. And then I try to extract the next for that and it'll be four. And then if I try to extract the next for that, there'll be null. And that's really the condition to determine that I hit the final node, right? Um, so my thinking is, why don't I have something called L? And this will just be the placeholder, or this will assign the, or maybe I'll call it in. I'm going to call it in, and I'm going to do this. Um, Placeholder. I'll call it placeholder, and then I will also have an array here that will collect all the different nodes. Um, Maybe this is just I'm just really thinking just really thinking like maybe this is not the smartest way to do it, but maybe array one, array two for list one and list two. And I'll have one while loop, right? I have one while loop, and while I loop through every single one of them, I will store all the values from list one into array one, list two into array two, and then after while loop ends, I'm going to merge them together. Then I'm going to sort them. Then I'm going to do I'm going to do another loop where I create a new listen node, and or maybe just use the, I don't know. I think creating a new list node would probably be better. Um, and this is probably not the smartest way to do this, but man, this is all I got at this moment. And I guess I have to have an N1, N2 because if I'm going to go to next one, next two, because there might be a situation where, at least what I see in the first example, and then the third example, there's one that has an empty array, has an empty list node. There's nothing in here. There's no value in here. And then the other one does have a value, you know. So maybe I should put N1 and 2 to be like to assign it to list one and list two. And I mean, this is the smartest thing to do. And it's already like 20 minutes. Let's do it. Well, I feel like the idea makes sense. Okay, and then I'll put is into and is into no. I'm not gonna hit the third. What is it called? Third strict operator. But this is the idea. The idea here is to grab the value of list one, or I'll do it like this. If list one has a value that's not empty, it's not empty. So I'll put oops, not empty. If it's not empty, okay, then I will assign array one. Oops, let me see here. I know this is probably like the worst way to do things, but this is how I recognize things. Array one to list one value, right? And I'll pretty much do the same thing here. If it's not empty, then I'm going to put list. Oops, I put list. Actually, I need to put list two over here, and I need to add the one over here. And I'm actually going to uh, let me put array two, and then I will put a list two with that val. So it's just going to start pretty much grabbing all these values. Ooh, but that's actually this is actually doesn't make any sense because once I grab the next list node within the linked list, um, actually this isn't making sense. Let me get some help. So because I was gonna think to myself, okay, now I'm gonna grab the next property, which will have a list node of the value, but now I'm thinking about it. If these two conditions are just checking if list one and list two has a value, I'm never really truly iterating over it, because as the loop continues to go, um, it's not being iterated over. So maybe the idea was to actually put list one, list two, and then put in. I think that would probably be the idea to put just list one, list two. And wait a second. List two and put in one into into let me get this out of here. Let me see. Into into and then I was supposed to put, at least the idea now is to put in one dot next, which will get the next list node, and in two dot next to get the next list node. And this should get all of the list nodes and then assign them to the arrays. And then I do like an array merge, which will have them array merge slash sort. I wonder if I could just do that in two methods. So I could just put array three, which will be array merge, which will have array one, or yeah, that's fine. Array two and array one, and then have a sort. I think there is a method in PHP just called sort, which allows you to sort it from beginning to end. And this gets assigned to array 3. And now that I have array 3, then I can do a list node, but then I have to, create a class list node like this. Uh, but so that means that there's more work, or I can just attach it to these existing list nodes, right? Um, and but then the thing is, how would I be able to swap and sort them properly? Hmm. I'm gonna use. Uh, don't tell me the answer. I'm gonna tell Gemini. Don't tell me the answer. But how? Or maybe I just say, how would I be able to swap list nodes? Uh, uh, swap nodes within a linked list. Let me see here. It says swapping nodes in a linked list depends on whether you are swapping adjacent nodes or swapping two arbitrary nodes by their values pointers. Below are clear solutions for both scenarios using standard list node structure. So to swap nodes next to each other into 2143, you use a dummy head node and rearrange the pointer. It's a dummy head node? What? So this is in Python. Okay. Uh-huh. And it's returning a list node. So if I wanted to swap pairs, I would first need to get the list node to get the first one, which would be dummy, and then have a next and have it as the head. Previous is dummy. Create a dummy node to simplify the edge cases at the head. While previous is dummy, uh, next is head. So basically, we created like a default one. Next is head. Previous is dummy. So while dummy next and previous next, first is previous next, second is previous next. So basically, it's saying while previous next and previous next are not null, we're going to assign it um, to the first variable and the second variable, and then swapping the pointers. The first next to the second next, and the second next to the first, and the previous next to the second. What the heck? I'm getting a little bit confused here. So the first next node is going to be swapped to the second node. Previous next, which is the dummy. Dummy next is the head. So next is the head. So this is hitting the head. And if the head was 1, 2, 3, then this is going to be the second one, where the value will be 2. So when it's the first next, the value would be 2. And the second next, the value would be 3. So they're putting 3 into the, which will be 2. 3 will be here, then 2 will be over here. And then the second next, they're putting first. 1, second next was here, and now it's at 1. or am I actually, I'm really getting tripped up here. So first, previous next was one, and previous next was two. So when second next is assigned to first next, that means it'd be two, and three is assigned to two. So this be one, three, and then the second next still is three. I'm getting confused here. I'm getting absolutely confused. So this is the head, and the head is one, and the head has a value of one. This has the value of two. So when you first next would actually have the value of two, and second next will have the value of three. So basically, this is swapping three to two. So now it's one, three, two. And with the second next, the value is still three. But with the first next, the value is one. So it's still one, three, two. I had to write this out because I'm like trying to speak about it. It's just so hard to. And then there's the previous next, which the previous next was originally the first one. And the first one was previous next was just one. But now that it's second, first next, what the heck? Move forward by two nodes. Previous goes into first. Move forward by two nodes. Previous and first. That's so confusing. Swapping any two nodes by value or position. When swapping non-adjacent or arbitrary nodes x and y, you must update the next pointers of their respective previous nodes as well as the next pointers of x and y themselves. Head is list node, x, y, int. Swapping non-adjacent arbitrary nodes, and you must update the next pointers of their respective previous nodes as well as the next pointers x and y themselves. If x is equivalent to y, return head. Search for x, keep track of previous x and current x. Well, wait, so x and y meaning like horizontal and vertical, or is just x and y? Let me read this. You must update the next pointers of the respective previous values as well the next pointers of x and y. Okay, it doesn't really matter about. It just might be two different pointers. Okay. Previous x, current x equals none or head. None, none for previous x and current is head. While current x and current x dot value does not equal x. Previous equals current x equals current x next. Search for y. Keep track of previous y and current y. Boy, this is messing with my head. Avoid just swapping val. While swapping node 1 val to node 2 val works in simple problems, actual interview questions require updating node pointers, directly splicing as node references might be attached to complex objects or memory layouts. Either node X or node Y is the head of the list. Okay, so at least hearing the key points in mind here, I'm actually just grabbing these values and putting them in an array and then trying to merge them and then trying to loop them to the a new list node, which doesn't seem like that's the move here. But if I, at least within this problem, it seems as though I would need to, it seems as though I would need to like a previous next and previous next. Maybe, maybe the move is, I don't know. Let me actually just ask the question because I'm about to run out of time. Um, Problem in PHP. It's an iterative process or method using a dummy node by traversing both lists with pointers. You compare the values of the current nodes and attach the smaller ones to the merged list. All right, so there's a list node, dummy node acts as a start anchor of the merged. Current equals dummy. But what's so funny is I couldn't even call. I mean, I guess I could have uncommented it. I just didn't. Okay, I'm just being stupid. Um, Traverse both lists while neither is empty. See, I was trying to do this. Wait, while list one is not null and list two is not does not equal null, if list value is less than or equal to list value two, if the current next for list one and for list one, put list next. Else, if else meaning if list one's value is greater than list two value, then put the current to be next for list two, and list two equals list two next. And then you put the current to be the current next. And this traverses both lists while neither is empty. So list two next. So basically, okay, we are looping through both lists, or we just have a loop that will traverse through both lists. And we're checking if the value for list one, whatever the value is less than or equal to the value for list two. And if it is, then we're going to attach list one to the next. It's going to be the next node. And then for list one, we're going to move the list to the second one, the next node to two. But if list one's value is greater than list two's value, then the next node for the current one is going to be list two. Um, and then list two will move to the next spot. That's what is happening. And then within the current one, this is also moving to the next spot. Okay. It's so funny. Whenever I see like these solutions, I'm like, okay, this sort of makes some of them it's like hard to make sense of it, but this is slowly gathering or making sense in my mind. The problem is I can't constantly work on this. You know what I mean? Like it's this I feel like I'm reading and understanding some of the stuff, but I don't have enough time to really retry it so like it clicks in my head, you know? Any case, I'm gonna end it right here. You guys have a good day.